here with the 4th episode at Content Madness, powered by La Cava Coffee.
All right, and we got our 4th guest here, Ryan Langan from Your Path FI. Ryan, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here, guys.
What's going on, Ryan? How are you?
What's going on?
Doing well. I'm excited to be here. I know you guys are really focused on, just, digital content and kind of spreading the wealth with education. And, I've been to a lot of events with you guys and, I love it. So happy to be here.
Awesome.
I'm glad we were able to get you on the list, man.
Yeah.
This is one of 10, so we're going to be here all day.
Hopefully you're warmed up a little bit.
Well, Matt's getting chilly.
Yeah.
We're warmed up. So let's talk a little bit about yourself, your company, like how you got to where you are today, and Your Path FI. Like what does the FI stand for?
Yeah, so basically I own a virtual financial planning firm. Your Path FI stands for Your Path to Financial Independence. Everyone's goal really is to achieve financial independence, which essentially means, work optional. We don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job anymore. That's obviously super broad and loaded, just financial independence in general. But my goal really is to work specifically with young families, young couples, generally under the ages of 45, generally with children, to help them make, smart money moves and just realize what they value in life, and they use their money as a resource to kind of achieve that ideal life, and then ultimately reach, that point of work optional financial independence. So how I really got here, I started in the financial planning industry as soon as I exited college, so 2016. I spent the majority of my time for a much larger local firm, and really what you see in the financial planning industry is it's really geared towards retirees, pre-retirees, so think 55 to 60 plus, and also individuals, families that have already accumulated a large amount of investment assets, right? High fee minimums, high asset minimums. So obviously learned a lot through those years, the larger firm, just generally about financial planning, serving individuals and families. But really the breaking point for me was just, and obviously serving my peers, just realizing that the underserved market is really just the younger individuals, whether it's, couples, families, young individuals, starting off on their wealth journeys, just looking for a financial guide. Really, we have so many, life events that we experience in our 20s, 30s, 40s, getting married, buying a home, having children, maybe starting a business. And I just really, realized there's a really, big gap, a lack of options out there for kind of that demographic, that age group, to really seek and, get personal financial advice. So that's what really led me to ultimately, leave my prior firm and then start Your Path FI to really, work with, again, my peers, people I want to work with kind of my age, but, people in that age range that are facing these, financial kind of life events that kind of need that help to kind of navigate those waters.
Awesome. Yeah, and just a question I have too is, so to get there, like what helped you get there? Like where are you from? Can you talk a little bit about like the steps, it took to start your own business really?
Yeah, so I mean, financial planning, two sides of it mainly really. It's obviously the technical side of actually understanding, the nuances of financial planning and, helping families uncover their goals and everything. But that kind of really leads into the second part is it's just so personal. It's really a relationship-based business. If I'm working with a couple or an individual, before I even dive into like, what is your income looking like, your assets, debt and all that, it's really just, learning about them, making sure that we're a good mutual fit, that we jive. And if we don't, that's totally okay. Obviously, the personality side is huge to it. So I think through all the years, obviously, it's just building those technical financial planning skills, becoming a certified financial planner. So that's, a whole process to go through, studying, taking a big exam, become a CFP. So building that technical side, and then obviously, kind of on that like EQ personal side too, just, learning the right questions to ask and, figuring out what means, what people value, what they value in life, and, asking the right questions so you can really understand them. Because again, before I even ask about income, assets, anything of that nature, it's, who are you? What is your family? Like, what are we planning for here? Like, what's the purpose of your money? So I think that's super important too. So those are the two biggest skills I would say probably is what kind of got me to kind of where I am now as a financial planner. And then kind of starting my own business again, really just went back to, kind of seeing that gap and that need in the financial planning industry and wanting to work with younger individuals and families and kind of be, that guide for them, because there are such limited options kind of in the space. And we can kind of go into, how my business is structured and, how I'm able to serve those families. But there's definitely that lack there, recognized it and kind of want to fill that void.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I feel as if, like any other stuff, mortgage or you go to whatever field you're in, you don't learn about all these finances, and buying a home or, saving for retirement or whatever it may be. There's so many big life events that you say when you're younger. I guess you're doing a lot more spending, right? When you're younger, but like even having guidance on, hey, how do I spend my money but still save and getting into those habits and not just racking up credit card. I mean, credit card debt right now is really at an all-time high. I think it's in the trillions.
Yeah.
Which is scary, right? So I think we need more people like yourself that are helping the younger crowd and to, hey, say, this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be doing. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah. And, the spending, the savings, like I call it cash flow, like understanding and prioritizing your cash flow is probably one of the biggest areas with younger individuals that I work on. Really, understanding what's coming in, what's going out, what you're spending your money on, and then really just kind of finding that balance and being able to spend and enjoy and experience life, because that's super important. There's hardcore financial independence people out there that want to pinch pennies and, live in a box so they can retire by 30. And like, hey, if that works for you, that's great. But also we have to kind of be mindful that people, have a life, they have families, they have children, they want to go out and travel, do hobbies, activities, spend money, enjoy life. So, I'm definitely an advocate for that. It's really, finding that balancing act of how do we, prioritize our cash flow, understand it, spend where we find value in life so we're happy, but then also kind of save for tomorrow in the future so we're not working forever. And then obviously not accumulating, mass amounts of debt kind of in the process as well.
Yeah, I know that's amazing. And so since I think our crowd's generally the younger crowd that are probably going to be watching these type of podcasts and stuff. What would you say is like your number one tip for someone that's, in their, let's say, younger 30s, later 20s? Like what's one tip you would see that you're seeing all the time that you're like, hey, this is something you should be doing. I really could recommend to pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I know I just talked about it a little bit, but I think it really goes back to kind of just understanding your cash flow. I always kind of equate a lot of things to financial planning, like going to the gym. So like if you guys go to the gym, if you go in, like you don't have a plan going into it, you'll hit this machine, that machine, kind of bounce around, not really know what you're doing, kind of flying by the seat of your pants. And a lot of times maybe you're not motivated because you don't have a plan. So financial planning is kind of similar to that. I think it goes back to knowing your cash flow, like knowing what's coming in, what's going out. Do we have excess cash on a monthly basis that we can be using to pay off debt, save, invest for the future, experience life? Or, are we accumulating debt on a monthly basis? I think a lot of people maybe kind of think about that and they get, stressed out or anxious about thinking about their money and they just don't take that first step. So it's kind of taking that first step to kind of like start to strategize and make a plan and understand kind of where you are now, which is going to allow you to kind of then set a plan of where you want to go and kind of put strategy in place to get there. So I wouldn't say like one specific tip, like you should be investing in this type of account or, doing this or that with your money. But I think just kind of getting over that initial hump of like sitting down and understanding where you're at financially and like where you want to be, what your goals are, is going to really be eye-opening for you to kind of then put a strategy in place.
Yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't matter how much money you make. It seems like the more you make, the more you spend too. So it's like getting down to those basics. All right, how much cash flow do we have coming in? What are we going to do with that money? If we even have cash flow at that point. So I think that's basic, but some people probably, I know I could probably get better on that too,
sure.
But knowing those numbers is probably pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. So another question I have for you is just what keeps you like passionate and fired up about what you do?
So, the two main things really is going to be just, just helping clients, just helping families, individuals. Again, money can be stressful, it can be scary, can feel like a big kind of cloud over us kind of going forward in our lives. So being a kind of a resource and outlet and accountability partner for, individuals is just super gratifying for me. So kind of being that financial guy for them is definitely what motivates me. Second thing is definitely, just my family. So my wife and I have a 4-month-old son. One of the other reasons I started this business is it's pretty typical if you're working for a larger financial planning firm to be, grinding away, working with 200 clients, 60, 70 hours a week, just kind of focused on the revenue, the bottom line. And starting your own financial planning firm really allows you to kind of build the lifestyle you want, serve a limited number of clients. You can have a really, personal, high touch relationship. Maybe you're working with 50 households instead of 200 or 150. So that really allows for that kind of lifestyle design and work-life balance that, I desire to be able to spend time, with my wife, with my son, future children. The other cool thing too is my wife's also a financial planner. So she's also a CFP. She works for a larger firm.
So your cash flows it down. You got to know.
Yeah. So like
to the dime, to the penny.
She gets it. So she's super supportive. She understands the business model, obviously, and like what I'm doing. So she's a good support system, and she keeps me going too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is the goal in the future to bring her into the company too, or do you want to stay separate and keep it keep it like it is now, or what's kind of what's your feel on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's definitely something we've talked about. Obviously she's been doing this just as long as I, so like she gets it from the technical aspect and just helping people out. So that is the goal eventually, is kind of build up my practice. She can come work with me, and then that's kind of the ultimate goal of building that lifestyle that we want, and kind of having the flexibility to work with clients that we like and that we want to work with, and have a successful, profitable business, but then also still have that time to have the flexibility, for family. So it is the ultimate goal. We're not there yet. It's kind of in the earlier stages here, but hopefully over the next handful of years we kind of get there.
You got to build and start somewhere, right? And
yeah.
Taking the leap is, I'm sure you felt, is probably the hardest part. And being able to go out there and just, you're on your own.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult. Even if, again, you're a great financial planner, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a great business owner. So I've done a lot of learning over the last, 8-9 months here. So I have a lot of learning to do just about, my day to day and my business processes. But fun, definitely kind of keeps me sharp. But yeah, still a lot of learning to do.
Yeah. Could you actually talk a little bit more about like the, when you had the idea to go off on your own and like actually starting it?
Yeah. So it's been, I guess, from when I actually started my business to when I kind of started kicking the idea around, it was probably like 18 to 24 months. So definitely a long process. And I literally reached out to probably like 30 or 40 other financial planners like across the country that did something similar to what I wanted to do. Generally, like the financial planning industry, especially people that have gone out on their own, are like super friendly, helpful, wanting to give back to like our advisor community. So I probably had 30 plus Zoom calls over the course. It was during COVID, so Zoom was just heating up, obviously. And people obviously are all across the country, so it worked out nice. But I probably had 30 plus Zoom calls, just kind of sitting down virtually with other advisors and kind of getting some insights onto what led them to go out on their own, kind of what their business model is, kind of their target client, how they service their clients, struggles they've had, successes, ideas for marketing, lead generation. And that was really kind of eye-opening and important for me, just to kind of see what everyone else has done and kind of get some advice from them, and kind of gave me the confidence and support that like, hey, like this is possible, you can do this. So that was one big thing. There's also a couple of podcasts out there that, are specific to like the financial planner community, specifically people that have started their own businesses and kind of have had success. So just listening to those podcasts, and again, kind of just hearing about their practices and how they got started, where they're at today, and challenges and successes over the years was helpful as well.
Great. It's such a small world now, and like information's so easy to get. It's amazing. Like I know in the mortgage broker world, it's once again a small community, and everyone's across. Now we're in these groups and stuff, or chatting. Hey, what's working for you? What banks are you working with? All this stuff, and we're now like a tight little niche community, and we're all talking to each other across the country, and everyone wants to kind of give back, and I think that's like. It's just powerful and awesome. And I think it helps elevate everybody else and makes everyone better. And leads down to the clients and better serving them and giving them the best service and products.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of benefits, obviously, just kind of having a support system, accountability partners. Maybe you face a financial planning situation you haven't really dealt with before, and like, sure, you can do some research, but it's always nice to talk to people that maybe have dealt with it. So that's another, obviously, benefit as well. The other thing, too, is like, I'm kind of pretty direct with who I want to work with, these younger families. So let's just say, an older retiree couple came to me and wanted to work with me. Like, not that I don't have the expertise to work with them or that I have anything against them. It's just, hey, I am focused on like this specific market. So it's also nice to have, referral opportunities, too, to kind of say, hey, maybe I don't necessarily work with retirees, but I know, these firms and these individuals that do, and they kind of specialize in the planning you're looking for. So just kind of having those resources to make sure you're getting those clients the best fit for their situation, I think is really important too.
Yeah, the special being able. Some people would be like, "Oh, I take as much business as possible," and you're everywhere.
Right.
You have older people, different situations. Be able to have that niche. Say, this is what I'm going to zoom in on and be the pro and expert in this. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
that's smart. I mean, that's what I would want, for sure.
100%.
So let's transition maybe a little out of the business zone and get into a little bit about you and personally and stuff. So I know you just became a dad. You had little Luke.
I did.
How has that changed your life and for the better, for worse? And how's that all going?
Definitely for the better. I mean, it's just, one of the greatest gifts, I think, being a parent, having, a child. So it's definitely been a great, kind of experience and kind of journey the last 4 months between, Haley and myself and our son Luke. So it's definitely been a challenge, being a business owner while having a child. And it seemed like, hey, I'm crazy kind of leaving my job and starting a business, expecting a baby on the way. But it's also kind of been, a blessing too, just having the flexibility to kind of, be home with them. I took a good amount of time off from working on my business, still working, on the business, but not, 40 plus hours a week, probably for the first, month and a half or so when he was first born. So just spending a lot of time with my wife and my son. And now my wife started back to work last week, so he's going to daycare a couple of days a week. I'm actually watching him a day a week. So it's nice to have that flexibility to say, hey, if he's napping, I'm checking emails, maybe doing stuff here and there, but having the ability to kind of just take a day, it's like a flex day, and, just spend time with them is really cool because obviously, as parents, Sean, I know you have 2 kids of your own, like we're never going to get this time back when like they're young kids. So, not having that boss or that work that's demanding so much out of you, especially at this crucial time in their lives when they're so young, is just a really, unique and cool opportunity. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest kind of positives over the last 4 months is just having that flexibility to be there and be present, and spend that time with them.
That's awesome. I love it. And the time goes by. I know everyone says it, so like time goes by so quickly, but like these younger years are just they're so. I mean, he's going to be getting into walking and talking and stuff and then it's just going to be like amazing and really connect and stuff. It's just to be there present. Is you can't put a dollar figure on.
Definitely.
I mean, it's just so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about hobbies and stuff like that? Like, what do you like to do? Like, what do you, if we're not doing the financial planning and the dad work, I know there's probably not a sliver of time, but what are we doing other than that?
Yeah, really kind of just getting out, getting to new places, whether it's, outdoors with, my wife, and we have a dog as well, just going on hikes. Trying new restaurants around the area in Westchester. We're kind of out here a good bit. Traveling when we can to new places, even if it's a quick weekend trip, kind of just getting out. We were chatting earlier, but kind of try to get into golf a little bit. So, obviously with, 4-month-old now, kind of down that rabbit hole, but with a 4-month-old now, obviously time will be limited, but, trying to get out with friends and kind of golf and just kind of be outdoors. So, we're pretty simple people, live a pretty simple lifestyle, but really, as much as we can, just kind of getting outdoors and staying active.
Yeah. Do you have like a set day to day? Like what does an average week look like for you?
So right now it's kind of crazy because I know we didn't get into this, but I prepare tax returns as well. So obviously we're sitting here, almost at April 1st, kind of in the thick of the end of tax season. So right now it's just absolutely nuts. But outside of that, really, it's kind of just, working on especially the point in my business I'm at right now is working on a lot of, content creation, lead generation activities, going out and networking, meeting with people, working with clients. So obviously having client meetings, kind of getting them all set up, creating financial plans for them. And kind of the structure of my business too is, for ongoing financial planning, there's initial kind of time frame, probably the first 4 to 6 weeks of a client relationship where we're meeting a lot, right? So there's like intro meetings, kind of discovery meetings, figuring out, what their like values and goals are.
It's like dating almost. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out if it works or not.
Yeah. Data gathering meetings, obviously, and then kind of actually, the actual act of creating financial planning recommendations and then helping kind of implement recommendations and then being an ongoing, accountability partner for them to, kind of lean on and reach out to whenever anything ever comes up. So that obviously is time consuming as well, especially for, a lot of new clients in growth mode right now. The onboarding process and just kind of getting clients up to speed is definitely pretty time consuming and takes a lot of energy at the beginning of the relationship. So that's really a balancing act right now too, obviously, with some other things I have going on.
Awesome.
I feel like I look back now, I feel like I sort of doing the similar thing as you are. Maybe I'm like a year ahead as far as like starting the business and like the kids and stuff like that. And I felt like now I'm starting to move past like more the lead generation. I think obviously you have to always do the lead generation, but like starting the systems and the lead generation, the branding, that for me was like the best part. Like I just had so much fun. Are you having a blast with that, or are you just like stressed out? Like like I have to do this, and you're ready to move like 10 steps ahead.
So I guess a little bit of both. I think right now, no matter what business you're in, when you first start, like when you're getting started, you don't have clients knocking down the door or right out of the gate, so you do have time. So I think not being hard on yourself of like, hey, I don't have any clients, I'm not like actually doing work now, I'm not working on my business. Like you have to put that out of your head because lead generation, I know you guys kind of share the same idea too. The way I think about it is like, in creating content is providing education. So like maybe while I'm not sitting down with a client directly and helping a client with a financial plan, just like doing the marketing and lead generation and creating content and putting free education out there, like is going to help somebody. It's going to impact somebody. They're going to see it, right? Maybe they get good ideas. They start thinking about, things they should be thinking about when it comes to their money. So that's what I enjoy about it. To kind of answer your question is, I think at first maybe I was a little bit hard on myself and I was like, it's really difficult day to day as a new business owner to like know what my day should look like and what activities I should be doing. And like, just because I don't have, X number of clients right now that I'm directly working with doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm not helping people and I'm not like quote unquote working on my business, because the marketing lead generation, is super important too. Again, just from the aspect of putting yourself out there and creating like, a brand for yourself and reaching people and providing education. You're going to connect with somebody, you're going to help somebody, even if they don't directly reach out to you, right, and become a client. So
Love that.
You're still impacting lives and helping people.
Yeah, it's crazy how like now that I'm like more than a year on the social media, like the whole blueprint and starting that up, and I'm starting to see the people reach out. Like it does take time, and you're like, we're in this world where you want results immediately. You put something out, you want a comment, you want someone to reach out to you. And now I'm starting to get people to reach out, and it's like, okay, now this does work, and it is awesome, and they're warm reach outs, and it's people you want to work with, and it's just like, man, and I was so hard on myself at first, like, this is so silly, like, why am I doing this? Like, it's tough, like, because you don't have the schedule or you don't know what's working right away, and it's like, am I doing it right? You're questioning yourself, so I feel for you, and I think it's not an easy position, but I look back, I'm like, man, that was the plot. Like that was the best part. Like get in the trenches and creating the content.
Sure.
Gets my blood going.
Yeah, I fully agree.
I know Matt.
That was my favorite part as well. It's still what we're doing with clients like every day. So yeah, I love it.
It never ends. But
never ends.
But you get so much better at it that what took 5 hours takes 20 minutes now, and it's like. You're almost not even you don't even think you're doing video or content, or it's all just organic and easier, and you know your processes, your systems.
And that's really when you start seeing the best results. I mean, at least what we've experienced is like once you get that comfort level and really can just be yourself and be natural, you start seeing the
confidence too. Yeah. Which is half the battle. I mean, it's tough being confident if you don't have everything in line and in place, but.
Yeah, I think like what you mentioned, Sean, too, is just, you start doing this, maybe you're discouraged at first because you're not getting, the likes or the comments, but, just understanding that it is a process, like a long game. And I think kind of just keeping that in your mind, and consistency is key. And that's definitely something I've struggled with and I'm still struggling with. So, post-tax season, kind of have a marketing strategy that I'm going to roll out and, be definitely more consistent with. But I think that's super important too, is just knowing that this takes time and consistency is key. So, staying consistent, staying disciplined, continue to create content for yourself.
I loved your LinkedIn your LinkedIn posts that you had, those like ones you kind of write out and you're giving a ton of value. It's, I mean, me as just not rooting for you as a fan, but just as a consumer seeing that stuff, I'm like, that's the type of stuff that I think you're going to really do well at. And if that's just the beginning, I mean, I can't imagine what you're going to be in a couple of years. Because what I see is, I'm like, oh, that's crushing. Like, and it's great information too. It gets my mind going, which is what you probably want, thinking and then leads to reaching out. And I think it's just amazing stuff. What speaking of the social media, the marketing strategies and stuff like that, what are you thinking as far as like platforms? And are you going more video, or are you going more the text, or like have you really thought that out?
Yeah, I have. So to date, really, it's been just kind of, the text, kind of just posting on primarily LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Going forward, still got to do that, but then add in more short form video. I think that's super impactful and powerful. And that's something that we've talked about before, just the benefits there, especially looking to work with younger, couples and families. I think the short form videos, the digital, puts a face behind the name, is impactful. So something I'm going to add in there. Podcast as well. Again, something to add in and just, kind of just speak about topics that are relevant to, people that I want to help, I think is helpful too, versus just a text post. So those are kind of the main two things that I'm going to add in post-tax season. Thought about kind of doing some like seminars too, local seminars. I know that's kind of like old school. But hey, maybe try it, bring it back,
I love seminars. Once again, it's like put a name to a face or meeting the person. I mean, there's nothing better.
Yeah, you can't beat just being in the room with somebody and like actually learning. That's
and I always say, I'm like, we got away from that stuff during COVID. Like, there used to be a big thing, and then COVID, like, everyone's just stuck inside. No one wants to see people anymore. You see it come back a little bit more, but I feel like there's still I'm actually, the last couple of months, I feel like this year I've seen it come back a little bit more. Back. But before that, like, it was like dead. Like, I feel like no one was doing anything. And now starting to at least see it. But it's such a powerful being there present, or someone at least seeing you even doing that type of stuff is I think is a good look for yourself.
Definitely is.
Yeah, and definitely a learning process too, obviously, wanting to try different avenues and kind of see what works, but also the balancing act of like not spreading yourself too thin. And I think obviously you have to eventually find, the one or two, maybe three activities that you like best and are most effective to reaching your target market, seeing results with, and kind of zone in on those, and maybe kind of drop the ones that aren't as productive. So I feel like I'm still in that stage where it's like, hey, trying some things, maybe see what works, see what I like, what's effective.
That's the beauty of this time. Like, that's why I look back, I'm like, damn, like I should have tried more different stuff, but you know what I mean? But you just don't realize it. You're like, it works. And then choosing a couple. I think when I first started, I was so many avenues. I didn't know really which one to go down. And I was trying everything and not getting results, of course, because you're not being consistent with it. And it's like, now I've honed in on 3 that I'm
just perfect,
knocked in every week. Stuff happens, and then you finally see the consistency. But if you spread yourself too thin, I mean, it's impossible. You're only one person. Even if you hire other people, it's like it's not you, doing it, or it's not as organic. So it's like keeping it honed in is just awesome.
Yeah, they all work. It's just there's only so much like willpower and so much you can do as one person.
Yeah, because you see, at least in my world, you see how people generate their business and stuff like that, and it's just people are like more old school or new school, like social media, or knocking on doors and shaking hands, kissing babies, kind of, and then like it funnels in. But everyone has their own way of doing it, and it all works. Everyone has their own special way, but it's like finding your niche.
All right, so another question I have for you is just 5 years from now, any goals, with the business, any personal goals? What does, the life of Ryan look like in 5 years?
Yeah, it's a good question. Definitely something I think about a lot, especially being a financial planner. Obviously, money and finances impacts, our future, where we're going, but something that my wife and I talk about all the time. Sean knows this well. We were just chatting recently, but our goal is to move out to Westchester. Obviously, I went to school out here in Westchester. A lot of friends are out here. So we spend a lot of time out here, and we love the area. So 5 years from now, I would love to be out here. Obviously, the success of my business impacts that a little bit. So growing the business, just helping more people, allowing that to kind of create the lifestyle we want and kind of get out here, definitely being goal. And then number two, I'd love to get to the point again we talked about earlier where maybe my wife has the flexibility to, leave her firm, come work with me. I think it'd be pretty cool dynamic. We'd be a good team. And then obviously that would give us, again, just an added layer of flexibility with our lifestyle. Gives both of us more time with, kids. So that's the ultimate goal.
I love that.
So where did you grow up again, and where are you living currently?
So I grew up in Havertown, Delaware County, so 40 minutes down the road here, Route 3. Still live down in Delaware County now, so not far from where I live. Kind of a little backstory there. So my wife and I went to rental properties too. So the idea was buy some rental properties down there. So essentially we've been buying rentals, kind of fixing them up a little bit, living there for 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, whatever it may be. Kind of moving out, buy another one, repeat the process. So that's largely what has kept us down in the area the last 4 or 5 years. We're at the point now where we're ready to get out to Westchester and kind of get that long-term family house.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome that you guys have been able to do that and did it. It's not easy, especially moving and then purchasing another house. Yet I'm sure there's a ton of sacrifices that you had to make, and it's just you are preaching what you do as well, like you're diversifying real estate and all that kind of stuff. And I think you have so much experience to go off of because of all your experiences of the different jobs where you worked, what you've seen, what you've done personally with your wife and everything. I think it's awesome. Yeah. It's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, and what makes Westchester that place that you really want to go to? Like, what is it about Westchester that's so special?
It's just the feeling out here. I don't know. We love downtown. We love the different restaurants, kind of, Stroud Preserve, Harmony Hill, just all the areas, Marsh Creek out here to kind of get out to and do some outdoor activities and hike. It just feels different out here. I don't really know how to describe it, but it just kind of feels right. We have a lot of friends out here too. So it kind of feels like, the right area for us long term.
Yeah.
I agree. It's definitely unique. Like going that west, it's like, heck are we, So you're just talking about those preserves and stuff. You feel like you're in a different country.
Oh, yeah.
They've done a fantastic job with that type of stuff.
Yeah. The one benefit of where we're at now, if we ever have to go into the city, we're pretty close. We're, about 20 minutes outside of Center City, Philly. Yeah. So that's one plus. Obviously, out here, still not that far. So that is a plus now, but it just feels kind of like less congested out here. Because you're kind of getting further away from the city. So that's something else we enjoy too.
Sure, we have family in Delaware County. It feels like back home where I'm from, the island, congested, a lot of cars, not enough roads. And here, but now I feel like it's getting a little, it's starting to get a little, it's starting to hit traffic and stuff. It's like, if you do rush hour at least, but it's still, obviously it's nowhere near any high traffic areas, which is sweet. And the downtown is growing like crazy. I mean, every month you look, there's a new building, a new shop, a new restaurant. I mean, a new idea that's coming. It's just, I can't imagine what Westchester is going to look like in 5 years. I mean, once they have all these projects, the hotels, and a couple of more of these housing projects done, it's going to be, we're adding thousands of people to just the mix in general, which is, it's unbelievable to see.
Yeah, definitely. So,
you want to go lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll put them in. So, first question we got for you. We got a bunch. I think it's almost 10 questions. Okay. It's kind of lightning round, rapid fire. We're in March Madness, so we kind of have to. I feel like content as we have to bring this up. Have you filled out a bracket? And if so, who do you got winning up?
I have not filled out a bracket, unfortunately. So that kind of puts a good notch in the first question there. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But who do you want to see win? Who do you think is going to win?
Arizona.
Okay, I got Arizona too.
All right, that's a good call.
There you go. All right, cool.
Second question would be, what is your go-to coffee order?
I'm simple when it comes to coffee. Usually, I'm just kind of a regular, kind of medium roast, black, no cream, no sugar. I did want to give La Cava a try on one of their lattes today, so I got a latte. It's very good. So it depends, yeah. But usually just a regular old regular brew.
You got to try the Americano.
The Americano.
Yeah.
That's
Excellent.
That's Jose, the owner here helped us up, and that's our
Give it a try.
Yeah. What was your first job?
First job, I guess my first legitimate job that I actually got paid for, I did grounds crew at my Little League Baseball organization after, obviously, wasn't 12 years old anymore. But, after I was in high school, I kind of went back to the president of the organization. I did grounds crew. So I'd ride my bike up to the fields after school, kind of, rake the fields out, put the lines down, get the pitching mound ready to go, the batter's box, all that. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Are you a baseball guy?
Yeah, I played baseball growing up, so it might be part of the reason why my golf swing's not great. But yeah,
I'm sure it doesn't help, or it could hurt. It could help a little bit. I mean,
Completely different different technique.
could be worse.
You a Phillies guy?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Big season coming up.
Yeah, it's been heartbreak the last couple of seasons, but yeah, I'm excited for the season.
For sure. And then, so the next one would be, what is one fact about you that most people wouldn't know?
One fact about me most people wouldn't know. Let's see, that's a tough one. Got to think on my feet here. Not really a fun fact, I guess, but I was going to be an accountant before I got into financial planning.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of
Similar type role, but different avenue for sure.
So, was on the whole like public accounting route, like Big Four, PricewaterhouseCoopers, intern there, like had a whole job lined up, and then the internship was not fun, being an auditor. So kind of pivoted into financial planning. Obviously, happy I made that change. Been a bit impact on my career the last 8 years or so. So
everything happens for a reason, right? I mean, if you didn't get into there, maybe you wouldn't be able to ask you are now.
Sure.
Book recommendation for everybody, and or a book you're reading, and or a book you're reading right now.
So book recommendation, one I think is interesting is Die with Zero. It's essentially all about a lot of the stuff we talked about earlier. It's like finding that balance of like experiencing life and going out, while you have the ability to, from standpoint of, having your health and your wealth and everything. What we're trying to avoid obviously is dying with a boatload of money and, looking back and having regrets on life that we didn't kind of go out and have experiences. So I think, kind of just a general kind of message to that book, I think is really impactful. People I've talked to, some people think it speaks more to like the retiree crowd, like, hey, I retired now, what do I do with my money? But I also think it can be important kind of enforcing that message for younger people as well, just, taking the time to like pause and experience like now while we can, while we're younger and while we have our health especially too. So
it's different things you can experience.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. That's cool.
That's great insight.
And is there a book that you're reading now? Or is that
no, so I wrapped that up recently. Right now, I have a list of books for like post-tax season when I.
Oh, you're right. Tax season. I'm not going to crush you with that, but do you have one coming up that's you're like, I can't wait to get into this?
So I think next on my list is The One Thing. You guys are familiar with that? Gary Keller. It's like the one thing you have to be doing like right now in like your business or your personal life to like advance forward. So it's obviously a lot more deep than that. But
that's cool. But simple. That makes a lot of sense to me. Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Great. And so the next question would be, what is your favorite type of food? And is there a go-to restaurant you have in that type of food?
Yeah, so I like Mediterranean food a lot. So like, Greek food. We talked about Westchester earlier and great restaurants they have. So I like Opa a lot. They have good food. So just anything like Mediterranean, is really good.
All right.
But we like to get out and kind of just diversify, so we try a lot of different foods, but that's probably up there.
Sweet.
First thing that you grab in the morning, is there something that you go for immediately?
Well, I guess when I get downstairs, usually grab a cup of coffee. So coffee drinker. It really depends on the day. Sometimes take the dog out first. Sometimes have a cup of coffee first. Got to grab my son sometimes now. So he might be up there on the list. If he's up early and starts crying, might be going to his room to grab him and get him fed and kind of put him first if he decides to wake up a little bit earlier. So depends on the day.
Actually, your son's gonna probably dictate a lot of what you can and cannot do.
Exactly. You kind of have a plan for the morning if you're up early. Maybe you're going to read, have that cup of coffee. If he decides he wants to wake up at 6 instead of 7, then kind of flips the morning upside down. But it's all worth it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great. And do you have a favorite social media platform? And this can be to create content on and to consume content on.
I think for me personally, for my business to create content on is probably LinkedIn. Although, with some of the changes I'm making, I think there's a big opportunity for, Instagram, maybe even like TikTok for shorts, coming out of podcast episodes. And then to consume on, probably Instagram, especially like Reels. I kind of enjoy that. Like me as a consumer for certain things, I think that's been impactful for me, kind of just, learning about brands and kind of brands getting in front of me. So to consume content, whether it's personal or, for products, I think that's probably had the biggest impact.
Great. Yeah, that's a lot. Huge. Your favorite hobby or pastime?
Hobby right now is probably, I've been kind of a nut with golf recently. So recently that's kind of been a favorite hobby, just kind of really pursue that. Outside of that or before that, really it's just been kind of going to the gym, getting outside to hike and explore new places.
Yep. We got the Masters coming up, so you're probably pumped about that. Yeah. That's like bucket list for me.
Yeah.
Checking that out.
And what would a perfect day look like for you?
Perfect day, what that would look like for me, just, nice 70, 75 degree sunny day, get outside with my wife, my son, my dog, whether we're just outdoors hiking and maybe down at the beach, up in the mountains, any day where, you don't really have much else to really think about or responsibilities other than just being present with your family and being outdoors and enjoying the weather, I think is a good day.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's what I want to do, man. It's easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
We need good weather. To begin to even start any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the questions.
Yeah, cool.
On the lightning round, where can we reach? Where can we find you if someone wanted to reach out to you or find you on social media? What's the easiest way to reach out to you?
Yeah. So my website for my business is yourpathfi.com. It's yourpathfi.com. So obviously a lot about me and my business on there. And then on social media, I'm probably most active right now on LinkedIn. So just, Ryan Langan, CFP on LinkedIn, or Instagram, yourpathfi on Instagram, probably are the main places to connect with me.
All right. Great.
Yeah. Connect with Ryan, man. This guy's awesome. Obviously you've heard it all. And dude, we thank you so much for coming, stop by, sharing all this stuff with us. And this is a great day.
Yeah.
Content madness.
Content madness.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
Been enjoyed.
Sweet, man.
Awesome. All right.
It is
awesome.